It is the anniversary of September 11th attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, and of course the airplane crash in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, that was heading towards the White House. We do remember that day every day since September 11th. It's hard to forget that day. I actually lived through it down here in downtown Manhattan. Thank God I'm okay. Thank God my family is okay.
Office is downtown. And
yes, I was on the way to the building when it happened. I was driving and I was listening on the news and I heard what had happened. And this was when it was originally announced that there was a little plane that crashed into the World Trade Center. Obviously, it was an accident. That's what people thought. It wasn't until the second plane crashed that the news started to report that it was two jumbo jets had crashed into the World Trade Center. I had been driving actually on the FDR Drive, and I heard all the fire trucks and police and emergency vehicles heading downtown. And I said to myself at that point, this is not going to be a good day in downtown Manhattan. So I actually got off on 23rd Street, turned around, went back uptown. I went home and I called my office. We did have attorneys and paralegals there. And I said to them, you know what? I think it's probably best that we close the office. And they all left when both buildings were on fire, and everyone from my office had made it uptown or across the bridge to Brooklyn by the time any of the buildings started collapsing. And then there were reports a plane had crashed at the Pentagon, and then a plane crashed in Pennsylvania. It was a terrible, horrible, horrible, horrible day. USCIS, the Department of Homeland Security, did not exist before 9/11. It was made directly as a result of 9/11. Before the Department of Homeland Security, there was the Immigration Naturalization Service, the INS, and they were under the auspices of the Department of Justice. And it was considered a legal issue to get a green card or not. And obviously it is, because I'm a lawyer and you have to go through, a legal issue. But it became, after 9/11, not a legal issue, but now a security issue, immigration. And they turned that terrorist attack, and yes, there were 19 men who were here on student visas, and they were on legal visas, and they went to school, and apparently they learned to fly a plane and was able to get through security at the airport. There was no TSA, Transportation Security Administration. It was private security people at an airport prior to 9/11, and you would just go through a metal detector. There was no, take your shoes off. You would just go through the, put your luggage on the tray, go through the metal detector, and you're done. When you think about all the things that changed, the Islamophobia, the militarization of our police force, and the attitudinal change for people looking at immigrants and immigration, and the attitudinal change that I see, because I was an immigration lawyer before and after, so I've seen both sides. And there was always, a security component. Even in 1996, they passed immigration laws, that defined what an aggravated felon is and defined what crime of moral turpitude is. So yes, certainly they were always passing laws that, people who commit crimes, get deported or become inadmissible. But they changed the entire system. The Immigration Naturalization Service was an agency to facilitate the processing of immigration papers for people and facilitate the processing of the orderly entry and exit of immigrants. And that changed after 9/11 to the Department of Homeland Security. And they split the INS into USCIS, whose job it is now protect American workers, and ICE, whose job it is, Immigration Customs Enforcement, to police America and remove immigrants. Not that there wasn't deportation before, but it's just immigration is now a security issue, and it wasn't prior to 9/11.